What's up, guys? What up, what up? Thanks for joining me here on Saturday, August 3rd. This will be my recap or my brief for the evening. Hope you enjoyed the live stream I did this morning. And quite frankly, in this video, there's a lot of extraneous stuff or various topics that I wanted to cover here. But given today's events and how crazy things have been today, I just want to focus on two particular topics in this video. Number one, I want to touch on that FBI memo. Now, I went into it in a video on Thursday evening, but I didn't go very far. I just talked about some superficial data that I did, but I've done deeper researching into it, and I want to cover that. So we'll talk about that conspiracy theory memo, and then I want to move on into discussing today's events there in El-Paso, Texas. So this is a late one. It's way past my bedtime, but there's things that I feel the need to cover here, and I'm going to do my best to cover them in a way that's not going to get me canned on YouTube. It's not going to get me a strike. I remember after the Parkland incident early last year, that was an excuse that the powers that be, or not an excuse, but an event they used to censor a lot of channels on YouTube and content and whatnot. So we'll see how we move through this. Maybe I'll get a strike for this video and they'll take it down. Maybe not. We'll see. But nevertheless, we're going to put some truth out there and talk about what's needed, what's real, and what the mainstream media, of course, is not going to tell you. So let's get into it here. Thanks, my notification crew checking in late this evening. First of all, shout out to a sponsor of this channel, and Virtual Shield VPN, virtual private network. And again, given events that are happening, you know, I see some people in the comments mentioning Christchurch, New Zealand. Remember what happened after that? The government there was blocking access to websites like 8chan. Well, if that happens here, we want to be prepared. And you can be prepared with Virtual Shield's VPN. You can bypass IP address restrictions, tunnel around censorship, and with Virtual Shield, you can do that for just $4 a month for the next 2 years with the link that'll be in the description down below here. So check them out, and you know, if anything happens with the internet, if you start getting blocked or censored from any place, you'll be safe with that. So now let's move on to this FBI memo, right? Again, it came out 2 days ago on the 1st. Yahoo News published their, quote, exclusive story about this FBI memo that they somehow obtained. Doesn't say how they obtained it. Doesn't say who they obtained it by. But nevertheless, this intelligence bulletin was written by the Phoenix Field Office of the FBI, and it was dated May 30th, 2019, dated from 2 months ago. Those are some important details as we proceed. I covered this in my last video, but also important here. Now, I want to get into, basically, I just want to show you guys my Twitter thread here, some digs that I did on this. I'll link this thread down below. And, you know, I'm not too concerned about what the fake news is going to say about this particular document, because that's all just going to be the same rhetoric, repeated narratives. We're going to hear about it. Let's take a look at this actual document itself, all right? Because some very particular things stand out about this document. And then I want to talk to you guys. I want to show you some information about who was actually in charge of that Phoenix Field Office when this document was written. So there's some very interesting deets on that. So first of all, concerning this doc, well, actually, one note on what Yahoo News published about this, and this was actually written in the document itself, but check this out. Quick note on the Yahoo document. They actually published that the FBI said another factor driving the intensity of this threat, you know, the threat of conspiracy theories, as they're calling it, is the uncovering of real conspiracies or cover-ups involving illegal, harmful, or unconstitutional activities by government officials or leading political figures. That says that in the document, and it says it in Yahoo News' article. So basically what they're saying here is conspiracies are a threat because they would expose actual cover-ups. Am I reading that right? Am I getting that right? I'm not understanding this. Anyway, let's take a look at this document. A few of these things, again, like I said, I might have covered, but we'll still go over it here. This was on the bottom corner of the first page. It says FY19 Intelligence Bulletin Template Effective 10/1/2018. They forget to delete that. I don't know. again, I wrote here on Twitter, I'm no FBI document expert, definitely not, but that just seems odd to me to leave in there. And then, of course, this FBI document goes on to list all the questionable events as their examples for conspiracy theories making people violent. So they listed the guy that drove the armored truck onto the Hoover Dam. They listed the Pizzagate shooter, you know, the guy, Edgar Welch, went into Comet Ping Pong there. They listed the synagogue shooter, I believe, as well. I mean, all of these very questionable incidents where you have all sorts of contradicting information, like El-Paso today, we'll get to that. All of these false flag events, let's just call them what they are, false frickin' flags. So they're going off, what? Contrived evidence. And I covered this, been covering this a lot, because this is incredible about this intelligence bulletin. They source Snopes and Wikipedia. Ugh. Just, I can't get over that. It blows my mind. We're not just dealing with fake news here, but fake intelligence too. They source Snopes and Wikipedia. And these are federal investigators. So, you know, this document, we're not calling it a hoax, because to call something a hoax means basically it didn't happen. And they're trying to say it is. So this document's not a hoax. Many of these tragic mass shooting events, they're not hoaxes, but just the official narrative we're being given is not what actually happened, okay? False flag doesn't mean hoax. False flag just means somebody did the thing they're telling us didn't actually do it, right? So false flag is much different than a hoax. Very important to distinguish the two. And this whole FBI document is basically an instance of a cop planting evidence. Planting evidence on a suspect and then arresting the suspect and saying, oh, look at what they have, right? So it's just a piece of that. And then let's get into who is actually in charge of that Phoenix field office on May 30th when this document was written. So check it out. His name was Michael DeLeon. He was the special agent in charge, the SAC of the Phoenix field office on May 30th. He was appointed by, I keep clicking on the tweets here. He was appointed by Director James Comey, okay? And he was basically a McCabe guy. He reported to Andrew McCabe, you know, the corrupted Andrew McCabe that was forced out of the FBI, implicated in the FISA crimes. So that's interesting. Also to note, part of DeLeon's employment history involves work in the counterintelligence division at the CIA. So he's a former CIA agent, now working at this FBI field office. Really weird. As I question here, was he doing agency bidding or some rogue intel bidding by penning this memo? Don't know if he penned the memo, but nevertheless, he was the one in charge of that field office. And get this, he was moved out of his position of the Phoenix field office the very next day, May 31st, by FBI Director Chris Wray. Chris Wray moved Michael DeLeon the day after, May 31st, the day after the memo was penned on the 30th. According to Yahoo News, right? If this memo wasn't fabricated or whatever happened, right? If it is indeed a real memo, it was penned on the 30th. Special agent in charge of the Phoenix field office where it was penned was moved the very next day. Okay, so it's weird. And get this, Wray appointed Michael DeLeon to an assistant director position at a different FBI division. So, again, I'm not an FBI aficionado. I don't know the hierarchy there. I don't know if a special agent in charge of a field office is higher than an assistant director position, an FBI division. But I feel like an assistant director position would be higher than an SAC, a special agent in charge. So was this like a promotion, right? Recently, Q has mentioned, you know, an anon on the board's question has said, is Wray a sleeper? And Q said future marker. So we're kind of left guessing right now. We're wondering if FBI Director Wray is a black hat, is a bad guy, is a sleeper agent. Maybe Wray didn't know about DeLeon penning this memo, and it was, again, like agency bidding outside of his knowledge. You know, a lot of questions with this. A lot of questions, okay? A lot of people are still thinking that Chris Wray is a white hat and to trust him. As Q says before, trust Chris Wray, I mean. Did disinformation is necessary information. You know, just a lot of questions up in the air right now. Nevertheless, I'm just reporting on the information. This guy, previous CIA experience, moved the next day after this memo was penned. This memo leaked to the media. Now they're using all these media stories as like evidence that Q followers are violent, and it has to do with domestic terrorism. It's like the whole FISA situation all over again, right? This kind of fabricated evidence was created by the agency, leaked to the media. Media reports these stories, and then investigators use these stories based upon fabricated evidence as evidence for the stuff that happened. So, I mean, it's just, they're FISing. We could call that a verb now, right? They're FISing all the Q people with this one. So it's just ridiculous stuff that's gone on here. It's pretty much all I wanted to cover with this particular memo that came out. A couple other things on Q, then we'll go into the El-Paso situation. So check this out. Alex Jones, you know, I'm not going to talk about all the mainstream media reaction to this FBI memo and stuff going on with Q, because that's all, you know, that's just all clockwork. You know what they're going to say, same narratives. But check this out. Alex Jones has a mental breakdown over QAnon. And I'll link this video down below. You can see the whole segment. I'm not exactly sure when it came out. Probably yesterday, I believe. But he's, I mean, he's just like reeking of jealousy. It's like you can feel the jealousy in him that he's probably losing followers and getting exposed by a lot of Q folks that are putting the dots together about Alex Jones and the narratives he promotes and who he really is. And then he's also talking about Q being like a fake, a scam. He calls Q a Q cult. Check this out. There's one part of this. I want a screen cap of this, because they actually use one of Mike Rothschild, you know, the Daily Dot reporter. They use a screenshot of one of his articles here when he's talking. I'm not sure if I can find it here. Scrub through this. Nah, I can't quite find it. Anyway, terrible piece. Alex Jones, just, you know, InfoWars. All the InfoWars connected folk, man, they reek of something fishy, no doubt. The narratives they promote, how much they contradict themselves, the half-truths, you know, the sort of limited hangouts they put out there. It's you can, you know, no false idols, guys. No false idols. You can do your own dot connecting with what their agenda is and what they're putting out there. But, watch this. It's a good one. It's nuts. Okay, let's go into that El Paso situation, all right? So, El Paso attack there in a Walmart. I learned about this when I was doing my live stream this morning. I had no idea what happened, and then I saw people in the comments saying, oh, you know, shooting at a Walmart in El Paso. And I think during my live stream, I was like, oh, I hadn't heard of it, but I sure hope they don't blame this on Q followers, because clockwork, truly. I mean, the timing of all of this. FBI memo comes out 2 days ago, tries to link these conspiracy theories like Q to, and not really conspiracy theories by their terminology, but links these ideas, these topics like Q to, quote, domestic terrorism, of course falsely, but 2 days later, right? All these mainstream media blowhard talking pundits, right? Mainstream and alternative media, as we're seeing here. They've all been going off on it for the next couple days. Even Alex Jones, watch them stage an attack and blame it on Q. Like, they're totally prepping people. Prepping people for the last 2 days. Give it 48 hours for this FBI memo to sink in. And then, bam. Attack. Walmart. El Paso. Incredibly, incredibly fishy. Let's go through a few different things here about this scenario. Number one, we're going to cover claims of multiple shooters. Number two, we're going to take a look at the individual's actual Twitter account, the person who they're claiming did this attack. And then we're going to take a look at some censorship, unfortunately, that's going on with this situation. So, first thing, this is just weird and coincidental, but is anything really a coincidence? Check this out. Daily Caller reported on this 4 days ago, okay? Here is the headline. Report: far left groups plan a siege on El Paso, Texas to push border resistance. They're talking about Antifa. Antifa. Those who claim to be anti-fascist but ironically, sure promote and do a lot of fascist shit themselves. This was 4 days ago on July 30th, as you can see there, right about, yay, over there on the screen. July 30th, okay? Just check this out. They're planning a siege of El Paso, Texas in an attempt to raise awareness of alleged abuses at the U.S.-Mexico border, basically the immigration issue. So, just keep that in your mental back pocket. What the heck? Is Antifa involved in this? Interesting. Okay, next, let's take a look at the multiple shooter eyewitness accounts. So this is one. I'll link these tweets down below. This is one eyewitness report where the individual said, again, eyewitness, not just hearsay. She said that she saw 3 or 4 men dressed in black as shooters. So take a look at this video, and as you watch it, you know, it sure doesn't look like or feel like she's lying. She's crying. She, you know, again, this happened. This wasn't hoax. This very much happened, and it doesn't look like this is an actor acting, right? Feels very real. She says she sees 3 or 4 shooters. So take a look at that. That's been being shared around quite a bit, most definitely. Here's another account. This individual. This guy ended up on the mainstream media, and for the majority of this little interview, he wasn't talking about the shooters. He was just talking about what he was trying to do, save some children. He pulled out a legal weapon, actually, and he was, you know, doing some very patriotic things, very heroic things, so props to him for that. But near the end, about right here, he quickly says, yeah, I heard there was 3 or 4 shooters. So multiple accounts of 3 or 4, and dressed in black. I saw another interview. I don't have it loaded up here, but I saw another interview of somebody mentioning folks dressed in black. So, weird. Okay, we touched on that. Next, let's take a look at this person's Twitter account. So, right when I saw the news break his name, Patrick, there it is right there. I don't want to say his full name. They probably got the artificial intelligence algorithm bots scanning everything that goes into these videos. Waiting to censor. But you can see here, they identified the alleged shooter that was the alleged lone gunman. I quickly typed his name into Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, see what I could find. I didn't find anything on Facebook in a quick search, and Instagram was pretty dead. I think I may have found an account that was linked to him, but there was no posts and really no followers. But I did find a couple interesting things on Twitter. I found multiple accounts of his, actually, and they were both under his name, and the individual is from Texas, Dallas area. So, you know, circumstantial evidence all points to both these accounts being him. In one of the accounts here, in this account, he started his first account March 2016, and he stopped posting on it in October 2016. In this first account, he was liking, you can see here, he was liking anti-Trump content, impeach Trump content. Luckily, I took a screenshot of these. This is a tweet of mine. I'll link my own tweets again. I'll link all this stuff below. So he was liking anti-Trump content. Then in his next account, okay, he started another account then, October 2016, stopped posting on this one. In his next account, he started promoting pro-Trump material. And it just doesn't make sense, okay? Doesn't make sense. These multiple Twitter accounts, and then one he used for like 6 months in 2016, anti-Trump. Then he started a new one. He did a little bit more on that one, pro-Trump, just odd. And then, get this, so I was totally right. I'm glad I took screenshots of these Twitter accounts because they got scrubbed. They totally got scrubbed. So here are the screenshots of those Twitter accounts, the 2 that I was talking about. This is the one you can see here, joined March 2016. I'll zoom in a little bit. Whoa, too much there. Boom, joined March 2016. And this is the one joined October 2016. There's what looks like his face, and this is the one where he was pro-Trump on. So there's his accounts. Boom, you can see suspended. This one, suspended. But get this, right? There's actually a fake Patrick Crucius account. Look at this one. This new fake one. So they suspended what looked like to be his real accounts, scrubbed them. Now we got this new fake account. You can see joined August 2019 up there. August 2019. And this account is posting just all this heinous shit. Totally racist, violent, like, nonsense. And then you can see the McLovin photo. It's a freaking McLovin photo. It's not even the actual shooter. So Twitter leaves this up. As far as I'm aware, this is still up. Made earlier in the day, still up, but they scrubbed his real ones. So now when everybody searches his name on Twitter, this is what they're going to find. Huh. I'm just sick that anybody, even if it's just an average Joe and not some inside intelligence operative or something making this account, even if it's just an average Joe Smith, still sick stuff. What a sick mofo doing this. But nevertheless, I could totally see this fake account being used as a part of the grander propaganda effort. And you can see they're still posting on it, even though the guy got arrested. So it's just, I mean, it's probably an average Joe, but nevertheless, I just wanted to make a note of that. So there's that, you know, old accounts getting scrubbed, new ones let on there. Ridiculous stuff. Now let's chat about his manifesto. So the alleged manifesto, allegedly posted to 8chan by the alleged El Paso shooter. In my opinion, he was probably just a proxy or a mind-controlled fall guy. It was probably done by a team. Team did it, dressed in black. They did the thing, got out of there, and just left him as the patsy. But nevertheless, let's take a look at this manifesto. And so there's a picture. You know, he kind of looks like McLovin, actually, but he is not. Smug, angry look on his face there. This was the manifesto that... Now, mind you, in this manifesto, I'll link this below because you can't quite read it here on this screen, but in this manifesto, it doesn't say his name, and it doesn't link to him in any way, shape, or form. It was posted on Twitter by various, like, just narrative, rhetoric promoters, you know, people who were trying to link this to 8chan. It was promoted as being connected to him. Okay, it was actually posted on 8chan. It's promoted as being connected to him, but we have zero evidence of that. And when you actually read the thing, like they say that this guy Patrick here is a 21-year-old, but in reading this actual manifesto, I'm like, shoot, whoever wrote this knows high-caliber firearms. Doesn't seem like a 21-year-old wrote this. And it's just absolutely absurd, totally fabricated. Again, you know, cop planning evidence, just right here. We saw that with the FBI memo. They fabricated Doc. Planted is the evidence. Boom, doing the same thing on 8chan with this manifesto. Whoever posted it on there. This is counterintelligence 101, folks. COINTELPRO. All right. So, weird manifesto. Probably fabricated. We got weird stuff going on with his Twitter accounts. They're being suspended. We've got witness reports of multiple shooters. We've got, what the heck is Antifa doing in El Paso? So just all kinds of nonsense going on with this. And then very last thing to touch on is some suspensions. So Twitter suspended Dilly. If you guys are familiar with Brendan Dilly, man, he's awesome on Twitter. He's got his show he does Monday through Friday on Periscope. And Twitter suspended his personal account and his Dilly Show account with zero explanation today. All Dilly was doing is posting information. He was reposting, retweeting these eyewitness accounts, and what he was hearing is just information. And he was telling people to be safe. If they were in El Paso, stay indoors. But boom, he got suspended. They cut him. And then Will Summer, good old Will Summer, Shill Summer of the Daily Beast. Yeah, he says Twitter suspended prominent QAnon promoter Brendan Dilly for spreading disinformation after the El Paso shooting. Ha! Screw that. He wasn't sharing disinformation. Lying sack of shit. Your fake news is showing, Will. No, Brendan Dilly was just doing the work that needs to be done. And then these hyenas, these rabid hyenas move in to take whatever angle they can. Brendan Dilly wasn't even a prominent QAnon promoter. He didn't promote Q. He talked about it here and there. But no, even he said himself, he doesn't really follow it. And if you looked at his Twitter account, he didn't, right? So they're using Dilly's suspension as an excuse to attack you and just shitting all over everything in the most ridiculous way possible. So that's why I had to tweet at him. Absolutely absurd that he's doing that. So stay safe, guys. Stay safe in the digital domain that we're in, because you know that they're going to be using this to censor whatever they can. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. Wouldn't be surprised if something happens in this video or this account shortly, but let us do what we can to stay under the radar, stay in stealth mode, away from those censorers, and don't share information that you aren't sourcing with evidence. Don't share anything violent. Don't share anything that just sounds absolutely absurd and gives them an excuse to censor you. And at the same time, I see a lot of people wondering, how can we stop this nonsense from occurring? How can we stop this madness from happening on our planet? And yes, we do need prayers. We do need positive thoughts out there, because those absolutely help. But my view, my opinion on what we can do to make sure this never happens again is spread the awareness, raise the consciousness, get people understanding why the hell this happens in the first place. It doesn't happen because we lack gun control laws. It doesn't happen because we need to vote new people into office. Need to vote some people out of office, really. It doesn't happen because of really this or that, but it's a corrupted deep state. It's a corrupted deep state. It's corrupted rogue intelligence agencies, just horribly sick people out there who will literally pull false flag events like this with no regard for human life because they want to bring forth their agenda or distract or divert or delay from themselves and their crimes being exposed. That's exactly what we're seeing right now. We're seeing this FBI memo and this event in El-Paso. It's all clockwork. They're, bringing these out to attack the Q followers, attack the ideas and the theories themselves. And yes, this is very real. How many of these mass shootings that have gone on the past 20 years have been fabricated? Not saying faked or hoaxed, but I'm just saying what we're told as the official story isn't really the truth. And there's a lot more behind it than we're really told. And it is being used and done for a greater agenda. So bring the darkness to light. Yes, my friends in the comments, absolutely dark to light. That's how we're going to change things for the better and make sure this never happens again. Okay? So just keep spreading the truth as much as you can. You might get attacked, but this is coming to light anyway. And the people out there who aren't awake, aren't aware, their time's drawing near, and they're going to have no choice but to wake up soon. Okay? So that's that for this one, guys. Just want to say thank you to all my Patreoners out there. Thank you on Patreon. Got some new folks that have signed up. Going to be doing some live chats and some giveaways this week. So appreciate you all for your support on there. Support independent media, guys. It's very important. Very important to support indie media and not the controlled opposition blowhards or those mainstream media giant websites that claim they're independent and still ask for donations, but they get like millions of dollars of years in investments and funding. But no, support your indie creators, people you enjoy their work, and also stuff on my website too. A lot of you guys have been checking that out. I'll be posting some videos and some content coming up to explain what's on there and discuss the ingredients and how much of this is beneficial. Things like Ormus, things like the greens powder, the tasty greens powder I have up, Oregon, etc. So link for all that will be down below on the site there. And then you can check out the events I have coming up too. I'll be announcing some new events coming up. And then I have one there in California coming up in just a few weeks, Dimensions of Disclosure. That'll be fun. Edge of Wonder guys, David Wilcock, Bill Binney. Be an honor to meet him. So there you go, guys. Check all the links, all the deets in the description down below. Thank you for tuning in on this late one. I'll be back very soon. Take care, everybody.